been one of the biggest weeks in flight simulations for many months. In this week's video, we'll take a look at the upcoming Sim Update 14 and World Update 15 as they've been announced, as well as we look at the new aircraft that Microsoft Flight Simulator is bringing to the sim. We have some updates to the features that we'll see in a Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 and the 2020 sim, and this just scratches the surface when it comes to Sim Update and news this week. And also we've got you covered with all the latest announcements and release news, so let's jump into the video. Before we jump into this week's previews and announcements, a quick word from our video sponsor this week, which is ProDesk Sims. A big thank you to ProDesk Sims for sponsoring this YouTube video. Their products enhance your current flight simulator hardware by turning your flight controls into something closer to the real thing. The team makes different add-ons for flight controls such as Honeycomb, SciTech, and Velocity over a variety of different aircraft, including Boeing, BAE, Cessna Citation, Vision Jet, TBM, just to mention a few. The current add-on I'm using at the moment is the ProDesk Sims new dual action Boeing 737 add-on for the Honeycomb Bravo, which features a detent flap and speed brakes. This really improves the immersion and realism of my flights. For Odds Flight Sim viewers, you can use this code AUSFS on checkout for a 15% discount on all ProDesk Sim products. I'll leave a link in the description of where you can check out their page, and a big thank you to our friends over at ProDesk Sims for sponsoring this video. Kicking off this week's previews and announcements in the lead up to Black Square's TBM release for Just Flight, the team have released some new videos showcasing some detailed systems and features of the TBM. The team over at Black Square have mentioned their TBM will be a very detailed aircraft when it comes to systems, and it will not use the current TBM model. It's an all new TBM built from the ground up. This week we're seeing two new in-depth videos of the TBM 850 when it comes to failures and electrical systems. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check out those videos. There is no ETA for the release when it comes to the Black Square TBM 850 at this point, but knowing Just Flight, if they are pumping out videos over on their YouTube channel, it won't be too long before we see the TBM 850 released. The TFDI release date for the Collector's Edition is fast approaching. Simmers who purchased a limited number of MD-11 Collector's Editions will soon have access to the pre-release beta version of the aircraft and be able to provide feedback to the TFDI team while they're testing. Captain Mac YouTube channel was one of the first to preview a early release of the MD-11 and went through some systems and features of the MD-11. Captain Mac did explain this is an early version release and there are some non-functional systems and bugs, but what we did see from the YouTube footage for this very early release of the MD-11 is displays a high level of realism so far for the version of the aircraft. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can check out Captain Mac's YouTube channel and the video that he did with the TFDI MD-11. Kicking off this week's release news, as we have a ton of it. This one just missed last week's video with the release from SoFly of the Animals for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Animals is a new add-on that brings a load of animals to the simulator. This was originally showcased at this year's FS Expo. Animals brings 15 new species of animals to the simulator with all new 3D modeling and animations, which is optimized for performance. Over 5,000 animals have been independently placed across the globe. Each animal species has top audio effects played randomly to give the sense of life in the sim. There's also 5 new missions that have been included in the release, which gives you the opportunity to spot animals and provide educational information about each one. A bunch of the airfields for the missions have been enhanced with the help of the Parallel 42 team, and some of the animals included in the release are blue whales, horses, pandas, camels, kangaroos, lions, sheep, just to mention a few. You can pick up your copy of SoFly's Animals for Microsoft Flight Simulator over on their store or the Orbex store, and I'll leave a link in the description below. Also, the team have mentioned it will be coming to a Xbox version when it's available to go on the marketplace sometime soon. In our next release for the week, this one is Captain Sim. This week they released their first range of a new aircraft, which is a Boeing 717-200. Now, Captain Sim in the last couple of years has a mixed response regarding their releases in the flight sim community. Some simmers believe their products are overpriced and even go as far as saying they're a scam, while others are like the simplicity that the Captain Sim products bring. Here on the Oz Flight Sims channel, we are just reporting the news. As always, we recommend doing your own research research when purchasing products. The Boeing 717 entered service in the late 1990s. 145 of these were produced from 1998 to 2006, with its primary users as Qantas, Delta and Hawaiian Airlines. Captain Sim's version comes with a custom 3D model exterior and interior, detail animations, a very basic cabin interior. A bunch of aircraft systems have been taken from the Asobo default A320neo aircraft and merged into the cockpit, so there's no custom systems for the aircraft. It's all been used from a default Asobo aircraft. Only one livery is included with the release, but Captain Sim do provide a livery pack as a extra charge, and you can pick up your copy of Captain Sim's Boeing 717 directly from the store. I'll leave a link in the description below. If you like what we do here on the channel, feel free to show that by subscribing and hitting the like button. It's absolutely free and it won't cost you a cent. We've been bringing you weekly flight sim content for over 7 years now, and it keeps us motivated to bring you the best flight sim updates each and every week on YouTube, so thank you very much for your support. Got Friends this week released their Wildcat F4 for Microsoft Flight Simulator. We have been covering the development of this one for quite a while, and the team has been in development with the Wildcat for well over 2 years. The Wildcat is a fighter-based aircraft that was made for aircraft carrier usage. It first flew in 1937 and went into service in 1940, which was retired in 1945. It was a short period of time, but over 7,800 plus Wildcats were built. Got Friends' version of the Wildcat has released with jam-packed full of features. Some of the highlights include a high-fidelity flight model with NPSDFC and soft-body simulations, aircraft carrier compatibility with built-in launch and recovery features, complex electrical systems and circuit breakers, engine vibration effects on the interior and the exterior, an in-cockpit map tray, propeller damage, crash damage and visual sparks and smokes and heat, custom Y sound pack, multiplayer animations which include canopy, wing folding, weapons and lights, simulated engine priming and animated feedback, dynamic airframe and drag, just to mention a few features. There is a long list of features when it comes to the Wildcat by Got Friends. You can pick up your copy of the Got Friends Wildcat directly from the Got Friends store. As always, links in the description below. Moving on to this week's sim update news, and this week we were treated to a new development live stream, and as we had a lot of information, I've sifted through all the live stream to grab the highlights so you don't have to do it. We've done it all for you. Jorg, the CEO of Flight Sim, mentioned that the June DLC release, which was set for the surprise launch in November, has been pushed back to an undisclosed date in 2024. This is due to the movie itself have been pushed back to 2024 release. The Microsoft team has always said that they will launch the DLC close to the movie release. We saw this same sort of thing happen with the Top Gun release. It got pushed back over and over, and we've seen it with the June DLC. The team is now scrambling to replace the date with content. Jorg mentioned that this stage they don't have it all locked in, but they do have a few things they're working on, and we'll talk about those later in the video that should make a difference for the holiday period. Moving on to Sim Update 13, which you should see a release by the time you watch this video, version 1.34.16.0. Along with this update, we've seen a number of fixes and improvements. The first one is the white dot fix has been implemented, and now you can go into the accessibility settings and customize settings for what you want your cursor to do. The horizon line visibility has been reduced. Unfortunately, Seb from Flight Sim on the live stream mentioned that they couldn't resolve this completely without new architecture and new coding. However, the team have reduced it for the Flight Sim 2020. Stability and memory improvements have been included with this update. The team have found a bunch of memory leaks that were reducing the FPS, which have now been resolved. Also, the team have found about 5 crashes that were due to long haul flights. These have been fixed in this update. Seb also mentioned that the FPS drops on final, or the crashes on final after a long flight, should be reduced with these improvements. Logbook issues have been finally fixed. This has been a problem going on for some time now, but it's finally fixed with this update, as the limit has been increased for the file, which should fix the issues this time around. Sim Update 13 comes with a bunch of updates of the handcrafted airports and also points of interest that have been addressed by Orbex and Gaia, along with AnyBuilds, Blue Mesh, Airplane Heaven have fixed a vast majority of bugs and issues when it comes to the 40th anniversary aircraft. Working Title brought a bunch of more upgrades to the bind in the simulator. These include SimBrief integration for routes, payloads and winds, payloads and fuel management in the CDU. Programmable step climbs have been included, a closed loop checklist items, and in the 787 itself they've included an EFB to takeoff performance calculations. The 747 itself has auto fuel management updates, VOR and apps and maps formats and bug fixes. As well as that, the Working Title team have updated the piston and engine parameters for the sim. Current developers will need to update their products if they want to take advantage of these new updates. I won't go through all the upgrades here, but you can pause the video and check out the screenshot, or I'll leave a link in the description for the developers live stream update. As well as that, I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check out the full changelog of Sim Update 13. If you want to check out all the bugs and fixes, there is many more. I've just mentioned some of the highlights, so links in the description below. When it comes to the Scenery Gateway tool, unfortunately it won't be making the release with Sim Update 13. Jorg, the CEO of Flight Sim, mentioned that the tool is complete on their side of things, but they're still waiting for the sign-offs from Microsoft themselves. At this stage, they don't have a confirmed date or when we'll see it, but hopefully once that signs off, it won't take too long for the Microsoft team to implement it. This week on the development live stream, we were treated with an update, bugs and wish list from the Microsoft team. The team did mention they are re-going over the bug list with aims to improving what they can with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So hopefully we will still see some more sim updates next year with new versions of the sim. This week on the wish list, it does in fact provide some insight into what's happening with the development of the Flight Sim 2024. From the list, we do see some features that will launch with the release of 2024, which is including seasons, access to the flight planner without leaving flight, and aircraft specific control profiles. And from the looks of it, Shared Cockpit won't be making the launch of the 2024 sim, but the team are aiming at incorporating that later. When it comes to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, it was asked on the development live stream when we will see some more information about this new release, and Jorg said probably not until spring. And that's probably from my point of view as well. I don't think we'll see anything or news regarding it until the new year, and I don't think we're going to see a release of the simulator to later far on in the year, because it looks like they've got a fair bit of development days ahead on that one, but we should hear some more stuff in the new year. Next on the development live stream was the reveal of the famous Fly 07, which is the Mitsubishi Industries MU2. Unfortunately, it has been delayed again, not due to the development. It's all now complete, but it's due to the licensing, which the team are currently in talks with Mitsubishi to obtain. AnyBuilds is the developer on this one, and during the live stream we received a quick walk around on the ground of the Mitsubishi MU2. There is no ETA at this stage when we'll see it in the sim, but assuming as long as the aircraft itself has been developed, they get the licenses obtained, we should see it quite soon. The next world update, number 15, has been revealed as well. This is Northern Europe and Greenland. This world update will include new DEM, new aerial imaging, 8 to 10 photographic cities, 90 points of interest, 5 bespoke airports, 3 landing challenges, 3 bush trip and 3 discovery flights. Along with the world update, we'll see a local legends number 13. We will be treated with a quick preview, which will be the Saab B117. Again, AnyBuilds will be the developer behind this one, and the team have had access to the real Saab B117 during the development, so it should be good. We should expect to see the release of the local legend alongside the world update on the 31st of October with world update 15. If this wasn't enough development news this week, we have more, but before we jump into that, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's absolutely free and it helps YouTube like our content and send it around to more people around the world, hopefully inspiring more simmers to come to the hobby, so thank you very much for your support. Sim Update 14 has now been announced and we will see it this year. The Aircraft and Avionics Update number 3 was scheduled for a December release, and it's now been merged into Sim Update 14, as this update will include more than just Aircraft and Avionics updates. Some of the updates we'll see with Sim Update 14 is multiplayer issues. We should see some improvements where player visibility will stop dropping out. More stability and improvements which didn't make Sim Update 13 will include in Sim Update 14. There will be a snow coverage updates where improvements of the sim's interpretation of the depth of the snow will be updated in this one. And the team is also starting to work on the in-sim ATC, and they will try to fix as many general bugs as they can with Sim Update 14, and more additional improvements will come in later sim updates. Also, the atmospheric lighting improvements and performance decreasing on the pop-up panels are both ongoing investigation, and hopefully we'll see some improvements for sim update 14 as much as we can without any coding need to be rewritten. The team basically mentioned when it comes to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, if they don't have to rewrite any code, they will try to fix as many bugs and improve the sim as much as they can ongoing. With Sim Update 14, we'll be receiving 2 new aircraft, the first one being the Cirrus SR22 G6. This will replace the current Cirrus in the simulator with an all-new 3D modeling, and the working title team will be overhauling the entire aircraft, so to speak. This actually makes sense considering the team had just been working on the piston engine for the simulator and really focusing on turbo engines. And if you are a Boeing fan like myself, you're going to be very disappointed with this one, as the team is developing another Airbus aircraft, which will be the Airbus A320neo. Again, this one is being developed by I&I Builds or Any Builds, and is planned to release with Sim Update 14. It will be more of a complex version than the previous Airbus A320 released from Asobo. The neo will be released alongside the current A320, and it won't be replacing the current Asobo Airbus. We will have 2 of them in the sim. Moving on to this week's backlog list, Jorg did explain the reason behind the sudden rebound in numbers when it comes to the backlog list. Before the summer break, the team had extra people working on the marketplace testing, which lowered the numbers, and as the numbers are lower, the team opened up for new partners again, which then created more demand for testing of new products. After the summer break, the extra people returned to their other assigned roles, which resulted in a slow ingress of products releasing in the past few weeks. Jorg did mention that the marketplace is a high priority and that they're looking at this very closely. For the moment, they've closed new partnership submissions again until they get the numbers under control. Unfortunately, we don't have a backlog list update or a marketplace update with this week's video due to Sim Update 13 installer issues, and yes, I'm one of them. I actually can't get the Sim Update 13 working. Hopefully that resolves before the end of the day. The Microsoft team did mention on this week's blog that they will delay the marketplace release until it's fixed, so we should see an update probably over the weekend, but unfortunately it hasn't made this video. If you enjoyed this video, thank you very much for your support. I really appreciate it. Please hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. We will bring you detailed content like this and search the whole internet and bring up all the highlights so you don't have to waste your time doing it. You can do some more simming. Hit the like button if you did enjoy the video, and we will see you on another Oz Flight Sim video sometime soon.